And not that you're going to look at it anyway.
Be strong.
Welcome back to Neil and Jason, bicker like an old married couple. Week 6. We're already in rare form.
That's because you're the worst.
It's because you have the technical skills of a grandpa. Is what that is. It's like working with my dad. What's up, Chuck? We're in rare form
Chuck.
already. We're coming in hot. Week 6, Thursday night football.
I mean, it's going to be a game.
No. It'll resemble a game. It'll have game-like elements. There will be a football. There will be people watching. But yeah, this is pretty much it. The Broncos are going to go into full fire sale mode here before the deadline, it looks like. So get ready for that. That's going to be fun. They're already you call it a fire sale. It's more of a fire damage sale, like Arrested Development style. Oh, it's a fire sale. Like it's more like that. It's all the scratch and dent toys that are going to be. This is like when you move away and your mom sells all your GI Joes at the garage sale. That's more what this is. That's how that's going to work. What are you, more of a Ninja Turtles kid? Is that what that look is?
No, I mean, I don't know. I'm
He-Man Masters of the Universe. That you had the Skeletor. That how that
I did
works?
have Skeletor, yeah, but
yeah.
No, I'm trying to think more into Transformers.
The world wrestling big rubber figures that you could slam into each other and had the ring. My brother had that actually.
Yeah, that and Sting. I had a Sting doll that I wrestled with. That
we had a whole, but we had the big plastic ring that had, and then like the rubberized action figures that you could beat the crap out of. We had like a bunch of those. Like I remember those. Boy, those got really nasty in the backyard, and I can't imagine they were worth anything by the end. What up, Anthony? I'm playing them.
Yeah, they're my waiver wire pickup, but that's also because, I mean, he's going to throw a turnover. That's one of the guaranteed bets. There is going to be an interception tonight from Russell Wilson, and the Chiefs are going to more likely house it.
I'm just playing them based on sacks. Just based on how many sacks I think there's going to happen, I think there's going to be at least 3. So that's where I'm at. You get 3 free points off that. Chuck, I don't normally ban people, but if you bring up Taylor Swift again, I'm gonna have to do something I don't want to do. Don't force my hand. This is a Taylor Swift free space. That's what this is. We're the alternative programming to this for those who don't want to hear about Taylor Swift coming to that game, or hear old Mike, or hear, you know what? I'll just go with that. We'll go old Michael's creepy commentary about Taylor Swift. It's like your grandfather. Like at the diner, like, hey baby, yeah, I want that eggs Benedict, if you know what I mean.
I love eggs Benedict.
Just me, just my creepy family. All right, fair enough. What up, Polo? Welcome in.
I don't have family, so it works out.
Welcome into Jason and Neil bicker like an old married couple.
God,
Volume 6 continues. It continues. The saga continues. Yes, there are dozens of us. Literally dozens, Chuck. Dozens.
It's a whole corner of the Twitter sphere. Not looking forward to it.
It is what it is, man. They're gonna keep talking about it as long as it keeps going on. I'll tell you what. I'll give her this amount of credit. She got a lot of young people to sign up to vote. That statement immediately qualified me for my AARP card. I'm 20 years away from that. I'm already qualified. I get to get in early just based on that one comment.
Well, fun fact about AARP. You can join it at any age.
Really? Oh, that is fun. That actually is a fun fact. Normally, we don't do either of those two things. They're not fun or facts.
It's all narrative based. Yeah, you're not asking me.
I told you before we're going to change the name of this show to Narrative Street. That's what.
It's how I roll.
Yeah. Well, we warned you. And I'm glad. You know what, Anthony? I'm glad you remembered that. I'm glad you asked this question this week because I actually forgot until you brought this back up.
There are still other ones that are probably available that you might be able to play, but it's Chiefs are probably a pretty solid one. Pull that with a real question. Okay.
Yeah, we have an actual question. We don't get those here.
Too much fun. It's the first two. Bijan and Pacheco.
Yeah, I think you got no choice here. I don't like playing players on Thursday night, but even I would play Pacheco over Taylor just because I don't know what Taylor's snap count is yet.
Well, and I already said my bet for tonight is over 2 touchdowns for Pacheco. So, sup, Danny?
I've been trying to email you for a week.
Yeah, what the heck,
For
man?
a week. I told you that Steve was going to be contacting you.
And you just completely ignored us.
Just ignore us. I mean, I'm keeping the $5. I'm telling you that right now. You ain't getting a refund, but I'm keeping that money. That's mine at this point. Like, I'm going to spend it on beer, probably, knowing me. That's probably how that'll go. But Danny, reply to Steve so we can do your video
on Discord or email, or I'm sure he's tried to contact you every way he knew how. So,
oh, okay, fine. I will. I accept this as an excuse.
That's fine, I guess.
I accept this. The family is family. You got to deal with it at the same time. I'm also familiar with relatives just showing up like, "Hey, we were in town. We thought we'd visit you." Like, I have a phone, so do you. I don't know, whatever. But yeah, Polo. Before this gets completely buried, yeah, I don't know what Jonathan Taylor's snaps count is yet. So, I
a lot of hope there, but again,
yeah. Rather than deal when I have two things that I kind of know what it is, and even when one of them's on Thursday, and one thing that I have no idea. Yeah, you're probably gonna have to sit Taylor.
Well, the Broncos have just been absolutely horrible against the run all year.
That too. That's also like the best matchup you can have right now.
For
running back. So, are we related? Sounds like what my family would do. Just show up. I live here now.
Nope.
All right. I guess so.
Would have
your phone off?
Then and there.
Your phone off? Because, like, you need $35 for cricket? Because I got you, dog. Like, you just say the word. It's $35. I can swing that. That ain't no big deal. Like, all right. Well, Daniel, yeah, just no pressure, but just let us know. Don't drop everything you're doing right now. If you have questions you want us to answer, especially with 10 minutes or whatever we got here before this starts, do your questions, and then we can handle this at any point later this week. No big deal. But we were sitting there kind of talking about it, like, are we doing this? Like, I don't know if we're still doing this. Like, he paid. I have the receipt. I don't know if we're doing this though. Like, actually, I was slightly concerned it's like something bad happened. I was like, well, he's normally not hard to get a hold of. But yeah,
we knew you would be here.
Actually, that is actually kind of what we decided. Was I'll talk to him on Thursday. It's fine. But yeah, that's nuts. That is nuts. I don't know where here is exactly. If it's in some other, I assume it's somewhere in the United States.
He said he was in the Denver airport, so I mean,
yeah, but that could be for any number of reasons. That's a United hub. Like, any number of people come through the Denver airport all the time. Like, it's
like me.
You could have a layover.
Tomorrow.
It's easy to wind up in the Denver airport.
Do you know where Littleton is?
What's that?
Where's Littleton?
Yeah, I know exactly where Littleton is. It's 15 minutes from where I'm sitting right now.
That's where I'm going to be.
Yeah, it's. Oh, okay, Maryland.
Ooh,
got it.
So jealous.
Got it.
Much rather be there, Daniel. Not gonna lie, I like Maryland a lot.
Cross country. Oh God.
From Denver.
Possibly. Littleton is like 15 minutes from where I'm sitting right now. It's probably not even 15 minutes. It's not far. Littleton is south of the Denver Tech Center. This is only interesting to like two people. But yeah, we have where I live is like the Denver Tech Center, which is like just south of the actual city of Denver. It's like just across the city limits, and then it's like right down the street from that. It's like it's not far to get. It's not hard to get to. It's basically right off you just get on the highway, like 25 south from the airport, and you'll get there no problem.
Okay.
You'll probably have to go 225 to 25. And then you'll wind up. Now, what you don't want to do if you're driving is wind up on. Well, no, don't wind up on the 470 expressway because you won't have a ticket, and they're gonna nail you to the wall. So that's what you want to avoid. Is that? What up, bud? What up? So yeah, if you're driving yourself at any point, there's two 470s. There's 470, the regular one, and 470E. And if you wind up on 470E in a rental car with no pass, they're going to nail you to the wall. You're going to wind up with like this $200 toll bill. And if you think they won't find you, they're shockingly good at it. They've got a whole system to find people like that. Is Evans and Adams are questionable, and my only replacement is Rice. I think Devontae Adams.
Adams is going to be fine.
I
I'm
think
more
Adams
worried
is
about
playing.
Evans.
I think Adams is going to play.
Evans got boosted to limited today.
Yeah, and then Adams is like I think Adams is, even if Evans doesn't play, I think Adams is going to. I think he'll be okay.
He is a Raider.
No one, just play Adams. We'll talk to you on Sunday morning, I'm sure, but for right now, I would be leaning towards playing Adams, just because I think he has the most likelihood to play. And the drop between Adams and Evans to Rice is so steep that I wouldn't want to deal with it. I would just let that go.
There is potential upside for Rice. I just can't bring myself to do it unless
not over those two other options. Yeah. That's not something I would do. Start 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4. You cut, so sit 2.
Yeah, you're likely sitting Higgins with the injury.
It depends.
And then I'm close with Collins and Wilson.
I'd play Puka, probably Wilson. Ugly as that is, he had his worst game of the year last year, and it was last week, and it was a 9. So it's like that's kind of the floor at this point.
The only positive though is that Nico should see so many targets, just a pure volume play.
Well, Nico is more interesting slightly because of the whole Tank Dell situation. I'd probably play Puka, Wilson, and Nico right now, but I'm waiting to see what they're going to do with Addison.
Yeah.
You don't have to make that decision until Sunday, so you're going to get more info. On a Thursday evening, I would tell you Puka, Wilson, Nico, and then I want to see practice reports for Higgins, and I want to see practice reports for Addison before I decide on the other 2. But those would be my 3 leaning in.
It said it's looking promising for him to play, but he had limited practices Wednesday and Thursday.
Who, Higgins?
Yes.
Yeah, I know, but I want to see what he looks like on Friday. If he gets a full practice in on Friday, I might feel a little better about it. But he's been limited twice, and you've got pretty good options. You don't need to play T. Higgins, so I wouldn't feel obligated to have to. It's not like you've got nothing else to play. And Osborne scares me only because I don't know what Addison's going to be. I don't know what Kirk Cousins is going to be. I assume fine. They're playing the Bears. I mean, and then so that's a good matchup. And then the big winner for me in this whole menagerie is actually Hawkinson. Weirdly, that's the one that I think, and Addison, and KJ Osborne is like, that's nice, KJ, but he's been getting targets anyway, and he hasn't done jack with it. In fact, he's actively looked terrible. My favorite part is when it hits him in the hands and then he starts doing this on his helmet. Really inspires me with confidence that you're mentally okay. All right. Chuck is here. Laporta got hurt. How do we feel about Schultz?
I like Schultz.
Schultz and Ertz. Schultz or Ertz is really what this question is.
And it's Schultz.
With
the fact that Dell's most likely going to be out, I'm really fine. And the fact that even though he will move a lot in the offense, Collins does play in different from the slot and out wide. I just think that Schultz is the easy option to get the targets that Dell was getting.
Yeah, I don't know.
Even against
about that. Zach Ertz has like the best matchup you can have against the Rams. The Rams suck against defending the tight end. So I'm going to lean Ertz there, just based purely on the fact that he has the best matchup you can have at this point. And he's been okay. He's been all right.
He's getting a lot of targets.
He's getting a lot of targets, and with Schultz, if he doesn't score a touchdown, we're not even having this conversation. It's the only reason we're even having this conversation. It's because he scored last week. What should I do with Taylor and Moss?
Play Moss.
Yeah, play Moss until further notice. If I could package both of them for like a Kyron Williams, I would do that too.
Oof. Not high.
But that's hard to do in position. Hard to do in position, in the same position. So
I'd be aiming more like for Swift or
Sure,
who else had it?
whatever.
Yeah.
Either way, you could package them to get something nice because Moss has a limited shelf life. Taylor will eventually take over, but we don't know when that is. Anyone who tells you they do is lying to you, even if it's Jim Irsay, because he doesn't know. So that's kind of where that is at the moment. I would prefer to wash my hands of that headache. We do know one thing, which is that it's Gardner Minshew for the next 4 weeks. And everybody who has Colts pass catchers was like, yay. So there is that whole element to it. But for the meantime, you're probably playing Moss until we can see who's going to win in that backfield. My fear is that this winds up being some sort of stupid committee with emphasis on stupid, which is why I'm saying, like, if you could take both of them and upgrade into like a proper running back like David Montgomery, I would do that if somebody's interested in doing that. Speaking of David Montgomery, it's called a segue, Jason. It's called professionalism. Who do you sit?
Hall.
That's a good question, actually. Those are good. That's a good problem to have.
It is. I like all of them, but you're not sitting Montgomery.
No, you're not sitting Montgomery. He's in the top 10 comfortably.
You're probably not sitting Walker.
You're also not sitting Mixon. Mixon's an RB1 this week as well.
Correct.
And if it was yeah, I'd probably sit Hall. That's just what it is.
Yeah.
Don't feel great about it, but you're probably sitting Hall. All right. Whoa, this is like
for Hollywood for Ford.
So much text it cuts us off our pictures off. I was offered Hollywood for Ford. I hate Hollywood Brown.
He does need help, but
he does.
I'm also not really willing to get rid of Ford at this moment. It's kind of a sell low because of
I don't know.
Ford his bad
is
game
like,
in Watson, and
Ford is also like nicked up already, and he's already questionable for this week. It's a horrible matchup, and he hasn't really been great the last couple of weeks. He's been okay, but that's more of a function of running back being horrible than it is of anything he's actually done. It's about right, but
if you're going to be trading Ford, I mean, I'd go to find somebody who has a weak running back room and add Najee and just ship it off. Get something much better, and then try and get rid of one of your wide receivers with
I mean, because DJ
Moore, Adams.
You don't even need Claypool. You can just cut that.
Yeah.
Like Claypool is just droppable at this point. So you want to get an upgrade for that, but my concern is what this does to your running back room.
Yeah, you should drop Claypool for downs if he's there right now.
Sure, but that's fine. But like, to answer the question directly, I'd probably pass on this because I don't think your issue is wide receiver. You have 3 playable wide receivers every week, and with Wandale with upside, and Woods with also upside now, and you have Claypool who's droppable, but your running back room is really, really thin. You have Jonathan Taylor, which we just got done discussing. You have Barkley, which we don't know. He might play this week. You have Ford, who's now beat up. You have Najee Harris, who's on bye. Connor's on IR. You don't need to be trading running backs. You need to be trying to acquire running backs. Like, what is your running back situation that you're starting this week? I assume you have to start 2. So you're going to play Taylor and Barkley and hope for the best?
Yeah, especially with Watson likely not playing.
Yeah. I would decline this offer. I would decline that.
Need to look more again. Would he play Moss over Flowers or Wilson Jr.? Right now, Wilson Jr., yes, because of the fact that he's still not activated.
Yeah, you're not playing Wilson Jr. until he actually gets on the field. I realize that the Achon got put on the IR and Wilson's coming back, but
that's what people aren't realizing. He still hasn't been activated off IR.
Well, they could do that Sunday morning. I
understand that, but
the bigger issue is I think for at least a week, it's just going to be Raheem Mostert out there by himself. Raheem Mostert's top 5 running back play this week for that reason. So and I think they might try to have Savon Ahmed do something for part of the game, like just to carry some of the load. But like, Wilson's not really a play this week. It's a thing more for like next week. Let's let him get through a week of practice, a proper week of practice.
Yeah, and you're not sitting Flowers against the Titans, so just not happening.
Moss or Flowers is roughly comparable, but I mean I'd have to look at my rankings to actually answer that question, which I'll do. Now we get into my favorite part of the show called Neil Reads on Camera.
Yeah, it's rough.
I know how to use a StreamYard link. Got that going for me. Yeah, I'd play Flowers comfortably. Actually, I just had to consult my rankings there. I do these, and then they immediately leave my brain. Like they're in there for like an hour, and then they're just gone. Like they're just gone forever. That's how that goes. Yeah. All right. Need to drop for T.
Just drop Wilson at this point. I mean, Michael, not Jeff. Much rather drop Mike.
Yeah, I would need to know like what your other receivers are, but that's probably fine. Because at this point, you could probably reclaim Michael Wilson if you needed to.
Yeah,
he barely got above 50% rostered anyway in the aggregate, and then he put up a dud, so he got dropped immediately. So it's fine. You could probably just deal with that. Same guy, JT and Najee for Swift. I feel like you're overpaying at that price.
Well, he probably didn't get it. Like that's why the guy came back with.
Well, no, he said he like.
I sent the same guy. It didn't.
Yeah,
say
I thought I edited. I must have mentally edited adjusted. Either way, I think you're probably slightly overpaying for that. But at the same time, it's not something that I would consider egregious. It's not the kind of thing where if I was sitting there, I'd be like, "Oh, you have to go cancel that right now." The problem is, if we go back to this, you're removing 2 running backs to get 1 running back. You don't need 1 running back. You need multiple running backs because you've got a big problem where. So you're gonna play like, you're just at that point you're just counting on Barkley. You've waited this long for Taylor to staple him now at this late date to get Swift. I get that it's technically an upgrade, but is it enough? Because you're talking about what is Swift on a weekly basis. I'd call him something like RB13. He's like the top end of RB2.
He's currently RB9 on the year.
Yeah, but that's just by retro. But I mean, that's retroactive. Like moving forward, what would you rank him as? Like I'd put him around like 13, 14. Probably week in, week out. Something like that neighborhood. Sure, some weeks he'll be in the top 12 because of matchups and stuff, but he still doesn't really totally have the full job. It's a good team, so that helps him, but he's never going to have the full job if the Eagles have their way about it, which is probably good because if they did give him the whole job, I think he'd get hurt. Historically, that's what's happened.
Well, and if they get to the 1, he's not scoring.
Yeah, probably not. So that's the other issue you have there. But he's pretty good. So it's like, yes, on paper you are upgrading because you're taking 2 what are currently valued as RB2s to get a better RB2. But I look at your team and it's like, is that really what you needed? No. What I think you need to do is figure out how to take like
DK and Ford.
Yeah, DK and Najee and get like a better running back. And then this might have to be like a 2-step process where it's 2 trades, not 1 trade. I don't know that you're going to silver bullet this. And the other thing I have is like, you waited this long for Taylor to then ship Taylor at the lowest point of his value doesn't really make a lot of sense. What I would rather do is take like Ford or Najee and like one of these receivers and work something out that way. You might have to do 2 trades. I'd be more than fine to trade DK Metcalf. DK Metcalf has not been great.
Well, it's because Gino's not throwing it like he was. His average type of target's down like 3 yards.
Fine with me. They're still winning games. I don't really care, but it's crippling DK. Like from a real Seahawks perspective, it's fine because they're winning games. But we'll see. They've had the bye. Maybe they'll get healthy the way that they need to.
Much like the Lions, everybody's so mad about Gibbs, and yet
So better, yes. What I would do, no.
No, yeah.
What do my rankings tell me to tell you? Komet.
Yeah, I think that's how I have it too. And yep.
Yeah, Raheem the Dream, top 5 running back play this week. It is what it is. Life is life. If you'd asked me that question at the start of the season, I'd laugh in your face. But here we are. Attrition's a bitch. Moss over Cook. Cook has not been good the last couple weeks.
Yeah, but his matchup is pretty tasty, if I remember.
Yeah. Yeah, I would play Cook. Go back to the well on that because they're playing the Giants. And Moss is now sharing that job with Taylor. I actually have Taylor and Moss literally one spot apart from each other in my rankings, right at the end of RB2, because you don't know what you're getting.
That seems to be everybody. I actually have, let's see.
Yeah, it's a popular place to put them right now because no one knows. No one actually knows. Like I said at the start of it,
I have Moss at 21 and Taylor at 29.
Yeah, it's you're no one knows, and anyone who tells you that they know is lying. Even Jonathan Taylor, even Jonathan Taylor's barber, even his mom, especially Jim Irsay. If Jim Irsay or someone representing Jim Irsay is telling you that they know, might be me. I like to stir the pot. So, I'm amazed we haven't gotten some sort of crazy Thursday Night Football update yet. So that must mean that game is going
swimmingly,
as crappily as I anticipated.
Yeah, it looks pretty rough.
Haven't checked. Don't know that I care. Has Harrison Butker kicked a 50-yard field goal yet? That would help me.
No, they just got the ball, so.
Oh, lovely.
For first pass to Kelsey and the second to Gray.
Yeah, I mean the Broncos are a national embarrassment. So that whole team is going to be fire sold here piece by piece very quickly for whatever they can get. And I think this is part of Sean Payton's master plan to try and not get fired. Although I don't think he was going to get fired anyway per se. But the issue is his whole argument's going to be, well, you didn't let me construct the team the way I wanted. You had me playing with all these reject players that I inherited, and they're going to let him go build the team his way. And it's going to look a lot like the Saints that could barely be an 8-win team by the end in a worse division than what he's currently playing in now. But what do I know? What do I know? What do I know about anything? Sure, sign Adam Trotman and little Jordan Humphrey and Traquan Smith and Taysom Hill next year when they can get out of that contract, and he can come play in Denver, and maybe they can get Derek Carr. I mean, like, who knows? Like, get the whole band back together from the Saints. Get Kamara.
Well, Frank Clark also, they aren't signing any more defense, which is what they should be focusing on.
Well, that's a whole teardown. That if I was playing defense for them, I'd be so bitter that I'd be happy to leave. That's a true statement. Like I'd be. You're talking about rest of season. So for rest of season, Lawrence for Burrow.
Sure.
I'm fine with it.
Yeah. You traded from the guy who was in the was that 7th round for Lawrence to the 3rd round for Burrow? Isn't that how?
No, it was 5th for Lawrence.
Oh.
Yeah.
But Burrow was in the 3rd, right?
Something like that.
Yeah. So still really high, but
yeah, it's all too high. But you're just trading people's broken toys. I literally have them one spot apart in my rankings. I do have Burrow one spot higher. So good trade? Yeah, sure. Like, is it something that I'm like thumping my chest about? Not really. I do feel like the Bengals have a better shot at getting their what together than Jacksonville does in the short term. So there's that. Burrow finally had a good game last week. That's helpful. That's nice. So you have that going for you. I'm sure we did.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure there was other pieces involved. We didn't just say, "Hey, trade Lawrence for Burrow."
I'm sure we did on the video we gave you. But yeah, no, it's a good trade. But it's not like I'm not sitting there like I just won the league. Like I'm not doing that. Like it is on aggregate a good trade, but like you didn't like fleece anybody and like send them to the poorhouse or anything. But yeah, it's a good trade.
Yeah.
I would rather deal with Burrow the rest of the year than Lawrence. I'll tell you that much right now. So, and if this is specifically about the video we did for you, then I'm sure there's an underlying reason I would need to go back and look at what the respective teams were. Because there's a reason that we told you to do that, but it's based on the fact that we were looking at everything under one pane of glass holistically when we were doing that video. Oh, Lord. It begins.
Come on, Pacheco, get my first touchdown.
Anybody that's not a Patrick Mahomes passing touchdown, I don't care. That's fine with me. Go ahead and you just hand that ball off. Hand it to Travis Kelce. I don't care how you do it. Like, that's all rushing tonight. That's what I need.
Yep. I need my 80-plus yards, my 2 touchdowns from Pacheco, and then the Chiefs to win, and I'll be set.
Yeah, I'll take that too. That works for me. Fine with me. I'll take that. Like 5 more. Just keep doing it. Game ends 18-0. Love it. Love everything about it. Do that. Most baffling game of all time. 18-0. All Harrison Butker field goals. Just keep doing them. And here's what I'd love actually. I'm not gonna watch this game, so I don't care. So anybody who's actually watching it, they can just deal with it. What I would have specifically loved. Okay, Denver gets the ball. Russell Wilson gets sacked 3 times. Punt. Butker field goal. Just do that. That'd be specifically what I'm looking for out of that game. Very narrow outcome for me. Oh my God, it's Daniel Eberhardt. What's up, Daniel?
How's it going?
Daniel in a long time.
Oh, this is a good one.
Yeah, probably Osborne. Just be
more upside.
Yeah. Right now it's Osborne, but I get the question because Kirk Cousins might not be playing for that team anymore. And if they do sign Colt McCoy to take over, I don't like any of it. I don't know if you saw that news report, but they worked out a bunch of players this week. One of them was Colt McCoy. And there's a lot of speculation that Kirk Cousins might be getting moved, but it's going to require him waiving his no-trade clause. And apparently he's been asked about this, and he said he would do it for the right team. But his list of teams is kind of weird. So one of the teams that he said he would waive his no-trade clause for was the Colts. And I sort of get it. I sort of get it from his perspective. But if I'm the Colts, why would I do that?
Yeah, now with Richardson there.
Well, I get he's hurt and he's going to miss like the next 4 games. But I already solved this problem with Minshew. So why am I going to spend more money? That doesn't make any sense. So there's only like a handful of teams he said he would waive his no trade clause for, but they're actively shopping him as we sit here. And there's only a handful of teams that he said he would do it for. The Colts was the one that stuck out to me. I'm trying to remember. I'm doing this from memory, so I apologize, but there was a list and it wasn't the most like sensical list, if that makes sense, of like who would be. He said he'd be willing to go like to X, Y, and Z, and I'm like, yeah, but those places probably wouldn't pay you.
Seahawks?
That I don't even know if that was on the list. Like
That'd
one
be
of the ones
he should be wanting to. The 3 different weapons, get running back, decent line.
Yeah, I don't think that was one of the ones that was on his list of things to do. See, what he wants is what he said he wanted is he wants to be taken in and then given an extension. And he said he explained why. Well, besides the obvious financial reasons for that. The reason is his kids are in school. And if he's going to rip his kids, he doesn't want to have to move and then move again. Which is actually pretty human. That's actually a pretty human thing. I kind of get that. If we're playing injury roundup, Jerome Ford was actually updated to a full participant today.
Yeah.
So you got that going for you. So Danny, you might actually have Ford. It might actually help you. That's not bad. Deshaun Watson probably not playing. So I'm actually looking at this because I'm trying to find there's a video of this that was posted on the website formerly known as Twitter. I refuse to call it that other name. But that's all. It's all spelled out in this video that he actually, here it is. Yeah. So he would do it. I don't know if this is going to start blaring audio in the background. It might.
It should just go through your headphones.
You'd think. But yeah, that's That's what's going on in the background. I hate this website now. I hate every change they've made to it. I hate the guy who owns it. I hate all of it. Like, it's just so horrible. Well, that figures itself out in the background. That's the gist of it, Dan. That's what we're dealing with here. I sort of get the trepidation around Osborne. It's hard to believe in Osborne. So it's close. I'd say it's the way I was going to answer this is it's right now today. It's Osborne because he's going to have more value in the immediate short term. But if we're talking about rest of season, we're talking about all the way through the rest of the season. I stand by Palmer.
Yeah. Well, again, mostly because JJ's going to be back and all. With this opportunity, I really think that Addison's going to be the one who steps up and will hopefully finally get past Osborne. It's annoying.
My only concern with Addison right now is the
injury. Yeah.
I will accept this. It's not 3 sacks, but I love it. Works for me. That's fantastic.
Let me guess. It's to Judy. I feel like Judy's just.
I don't care. I want Jerry Judy out of there. He needs to go work somewhere else. But yeah, Daniel, it's easy to miss with all the crappy news that's going on right now, and especially the world current events news, which we're not going to talk about on this show because I am not qualified to talk about that.
That's sad too.
It's not what this is about. So
bad headspace. Get out.
We're not talking about that. So it's easy to find. That's easy to get buried. But yeah, they're shopping him actively. They worked out Colt McCoy. It's really starting to look like the Broncos are going to try and fire sale at the deadline, which is in 3 weeks. Halloween, effectively.
Yeah.
And the Vikings are also looking like they might be in on the fire sale. And they would love to get the Kirk Cousins contract off their books because it's starting to really, if they can't beat the Bears, I think that's the official death of that team at this point for the season. So, Ayuk versus Brown or Cooper versus, I see what you're doing. Ayuk versus the Browns or Cooper. Which Cooper?
That should be
is it? Yeah. Oh yeah, they're playing. Yeah. Oh, Ayuk. Oh, it's not close. Oh, don't go anywhere near the Browns. Ford, maybe if he was playing, maybe I could get behind that if I had no other choice.
Yeah,
but
it's terrifying.
Nobody else. Start the 49ers defense if you have them. You didn't need me to tell you that. You were going to do that anyway. But just see what the Ravens did to them when they had no Deshaun. Oh my God, the 49ers are so much better than the Ravens on defense. Like that's the.
Well, they now have moved to PJ though instead of DTR. So
whatever.
I know you don't care, but I do.
I don't think anyone's going to care because it's going to net the same thing. It's going to net to a bunch of sacks and a really nice night or a nice day for the Niners. So there you go. All right. Well, Jason, while we wait for further updates from our man in the field, Polo, who's at the stadium. He's not, but at least I can't prove that he's not, actually. I can't prove that he is or he isn't. In my mind, Polo is at the stadium, live tweeting this for us, and that's how we're going to go ahead and report that moving forward. And while we wait for more questions to come in, why don't you do quarterback start of the week? Who's your quarterback start of the week?
It shouldn't be any surprise. It's Gardner Minshew versus Jacksonville. Jags have allowed every quarterback outside.
What's a quarter B?
Quarter B. Outside of Desmond Ridder to score 20-plus fantasy points. And at that same point, he's actually completing more of his passes than he has his entire career so far at 68.7%. So
it helps when you don't throw the ball more than 6 yards, but I don't care.
Doesn't matter.
It's working its way out. It's working out. Yeah, that's an interesting one for sure. He has the best matchup of the streamer type deals that are on offer for this week. So I completely understand why you would want to recommend.
And the rushing. That's part of the reason.
Yeah.
Those two things make it very enticing.
Yeah. And for me, it's I actually would probably this is going to be over so fast. Kick another field goal, you cowards.
I need Pacheco to score a touchdown.
No, I need 6 field goals from Harrison Butker. I don't want to play kicker at all. They're making me do this. I have to. No one wants to do this, but they're making me, so I'm subjecting you all to it with me. Anyway, for me, it's going to be Brock Purdy, just because he's making it look really easy right now, and they're playing the Browns. And that's the one issue that you have to worry about, is that maybe he doesn't, like, they might literally be done by the third quarter. But I don't need him to throw 4 touchdowns. I only need him to throw 2. And the Browns defense is doo-doo. And they're not going to have their quarterback, nor are they going to have their tight end. And they might not also have their starting running back. Maybe they'll have that. But that game is going to get out of control really quickly. But I'm expecting them to go hang like 35 points on the Browns in probably 3 quarters and then just be done. Just like they did the other day.
Yeah.
They are cowards, Chuck. Real men would kick that field goal even when you could score the touchdown, just to prove a point. Just to prove to the Broncos that you can beat them without even scoring touchdowns. Do it. Do it, you cowards. What are my other options?
Yeah. That's more where we get. He's fine. He's been, I think it really is dependent
He's a
on
QB2.
Jones.
He's a QB2.
That's his issue. He's not having Aaron Jones there.
God, that would help so much if they just had Aaron Jones. Being able to run the ball, throw dump-offs to him, something that you could work with underneath. Because right now, we talked about this on Tuesday. I accept this as well.
Are you kidding me?
That is fantastic. This is going.
The Broncos don't have a defense. What is going on?
Swimmingly. Polo, I love all the information you're bringing me here. God, put it in my veins, man. Like, just, yes. Oh my God, give Polo a raise. He only brings me good news. It's crushing Jason's soul like a tin can. I'm watching it happen. It's just, God, it's great. I'm mostly just bitter because you finally remembered to set your lineup the week you're actually playing me in a league. I watched that happen. I'm like, he's going to remember. He's going to finally remember to do it for the first time in 5 weeks.
Well, you know why? The whole reason is because I spent 10 minutes trying to figure out how to poach DeMarcado off of.
I knew that was you. I knew that was you too, by the way. I knew that was you. I didn't even have to ask. I knew I was going to post a message in the Discord, with the private Discord we have, and I didn't even bother because I'm like, I already know who did it. I already know who it is.
Well, you shouldn't put players on your practice squad that you don't want to keep.
I mean, I just put Will Levis on IR. I don't know what you wanted to do. What did you expect me to do? Like, I just moved Will Levis to the IR. I don't need him. And then it was only $1 million. Like, if you really wanted to mess me up, you should have bid 5. You have more than enough money. Like, I wouldn't have done it for 5. If you'd have bid 5, I'd have been like, have him. Enjoy it. Like, but I also have Keontae Ingram on the practice squad. You want that? Like,
no, I'd much rather have DeMarcado.
Okay. All right, then. Yeah. Coward. Work with a coward. Enjoy this, too. Enjoy this. I'll salt the wound. Anyway, we were having a real conversation before this derailed in schlock again.
Were we? Love.
Yeah, Love's a QB2. It would really help if he could get Aaron Jones back. Theoretically, he should be back after the bye. Well, it's real fun the way Aaron Jones played half a game and then pulled his hamstring and then basically hasn't played since. Super fun stuff. But we talked about this on Tuesday. Until the Packers can figure out some kind of running game, they're just going to keep getting blitzed on every play because the defenses from opposing teams have figured this out, which is Love is at a point in his career where he can't get through his reads. So what's happening is he's dropping back. He's looking at his first read. He's staring at his first read, actually. The pocket starts to collapse. He rolls out. He's not looking and getting through his reads. He's just focusing on the guy running down the field. So then he gets out of the pocket and he either heaves it down the field or he throws it out of bounds or he tries to run. And
which is why Romeo Doubs disappeared last game.
Well, it's that, and it's also like other guys that have disappeared on that team. It's not just Doubs. Doubs is the most noticeable. But that's the problem, is he's not actually getting through his reads, and he's just trying to run. And the issue is he needs some kind of underneath game that would really help. Having a running game would really help that. If you could figure out how to run the ball. Because
Dylan did okay this week.
Dylan did not do okay.
That's the fine.
Best. He averaged 3.6 yards a carry and scored. Yes, it's the best game he's had in 3 years. He sucks. If that's the ceiling, is averaging 3.6 yards a game and falling into the end zone, and then losing playing time to Patrick Taylor, who was so bad that they cut him after the game. Like, that doesn't inspire any confidence in me. They need a consistent, real running game Otherwise, the defenses they're playing against are going to do what the Raiders started doing. And I forget who they played the week prior, but it was the same story. They just pin their ears back and blitz on every play. And I would do the same thing. I would literally do the same thing. So he's like a QB2. I would need to know who your other options are. Honestly, there are other guys I would rather deal with temporarily and even semi-permanently. Like, is Purdy available? I'd probably rather deal
Purdy's.
with that. I'd probably rather do. Is Baker Mayfield available? I know that's weird to say, but I'd probably rather deal with that too. Like, I don't really want to deal. So he is theoretically to have a backup, but I would like to know who your other backup quarterback options are.
And also, if you need
like
something else.
Yeah, I bet
easy cut for you.
I bet there's something better. Would be my guess. Unless you're playing in a 16-team league, and then probably no. then it's fine. That's a weird comp.
No, he's a Curtis Samuel. That's what he is.
He's been Curtis. He has the same job he's had forever. It's not anything different.
He is what Hill became. Except for Hill's just doing it so much better. He's a good runner. He can do his routes. They get it to him because he's there and usually open. If he had the speed that Hill would have, he'd be a much better player, but he doesn't. So
it's also the issue that Curtis
it's on the word
31, and like Fantasy Zombie resurrected 3 different times. Curtis Samuel. It's hard to do. It's legitimately hard. Most people don't even do it once, and he's come back 3 times from the dead. The problem with Curtis Samuel is he only has value when the Commanders are losing. So in games where they have positive game script, he means nothing.
Robinson to the moon.
It's Robinson, and then McLaurin will get his 5 to 6, 7 targets, depending. He gets the same thing. Whether or not he scores is on him.
That's more likely going to be Dawson if they're winning. Dawson's going to be the one who catches that touchdown.
Dodson gets only that, though. They don't look for him at any other point, so Dodson's value has been cratering like a rock. Because now they just throw the ball to Logan Thomas 100 times until Logan Thomas inevitably is going to get hit in the head again, and then I'm sorry because that makes me a dick for saying that, but it's true. Like, Logan Thomas does everything for them, and they just love throwing it to him. Until eventually, what will inevitably happen is Logan Thomas will get blasted in the head, and then we're going to have to reevaluate this entire conversation. And I'm sorry if that makes me a dick, but it's true. That's what always happens with this. But now he's sharing with Logan Thomas again, is the other problem. So that's the other issue here is they need somebody, and it just keeps changing. It's like, honestly, man, I don't really want much on the Commanders at all at this point. It's too hard to figure out. None of it's consistent. McLaurin is consistently mediocre, if you care about that. At this point, if he scores, he vaults up a whole tier. But
that's what Daniel needs to do. Daniel needs to find the Aaron Jones hunter. Pass off
manager. 2 years now.
I've messed up 3 times this year. That's fine. For the number of hours I'm on here,
I haven't been counting. I haven't been counting. It's just nails on a chalkboard when I hear it.
But in any case, they go there, add in DK, get Jones and something back, and you'll be set. Just not even worry about it. Jones will
Chuck, I agree. It is his rookie year. That's why I've tempered expectations for him. And people are like, is he the second coming of Aaron Rodgers? And I'm like, how much bath salts have you done since 9 a.m.? Like, no. Like, we don't know anything. And it's because he's playing with, like...
He's yet to have a fully healthy team. And he's
yet to have a fully healthy team. I don't like how they have no run game. We are not getting a whole lot of, like, meaningful information about Love. And it is effectively his rookie year. So, it's...
And Bakhtiari is on IR. Also
not
helping him.
That's also... I agree with that. That's really not helping.
Yeah.
That's really not... Is it bad when they snap the ball and the entire left side of the line immediately takes 2 steps backwards? Is that bad? Is that bad? It seems bad. It seems bad that would happen. I don't know if I would go that far, but he does matter. He's a difference maker for them. He's one of the few tight ends that actually moves the needle. And people are like, he's a top 10 tight end. And I'm like, anybody's a top 10 tight end. Jason's a top 10 tight end. Like, that's how that it doesn't mean anything. Like, that means nothing. Like, but like he does matter to the Commanders when he's healthy. They do really try to get him involved. There you go. We're on pace. Kick another field goal, baby. kick another field goal and give it back to Denver, and then Russell Wilson sack, fumble, touchdown, going the other way, kick it back to Denver. Love it. Just do that. That all sounds great. What were we talking about? Oh yeah, who's your sit of the week?
Oh, for quarterback, Justin Herbert versus Dallas. It's the only one I'm really nervous about.
I'd actually argue about that with you if I could, but I can't.
I know it's just Purdy's the only quarter.
Hideous.
Yeah, even though Dallas continues to have their defense get hurt, but Purdy is the only quarterback to go over 20 fantasy points this year against the Cowboys. So, granted, very different offense, but of the people that I'm looking at in the top 12, Herbert's the only one I could see potentially not being in the top 12 at the end of the day.
Yeah, and it is hard this week because you have buys, but it's not buys to teams that matter from a quarterback perspective. So all of the good quarterbacks are playing. And I actually have one that I think will be pretty controversial. And I doubt you have better options, so I don't actually know how useful this is going to be, but it's Tua. And it's largely because that game's going to be over by halftime. Because they're playing Carolina. So Raheem Mostert to the moon. You're really hoping Tua is going to score in the early, because if that doesn't happen, he could wind up with like a 14, and it's not even because he's bad or he's going to have a bad game. It's just they're going to pull the Panthers' pants down on national television and spank their little bottoms in front of their families, and they're not going to apologize, and it's going to be really ugly.
Yeah. Those were the two.
I'm sorry, Polo, but I actually kind of agree with him. It's a hideous matchup on Monday night. I don't think you'll have a better option. He's still like a borderline top 10 play, but I would temper my expectations. And yes, he's getting Eckler back, and that will help.
Yeah,
you're really hoping Eckler catches 2 touchdowns. That's kind of what you're hoping for here.
Yeah. Well, Palmer, there's a chance for Palmer and even Johnson. I'm really nervous about Allen. I think that's who they're going to focus on, because why wouldn't you try and take away?
Yeah, that's what I would try to do too. Allen and Eckler would be who I'd be spending my time on. And if you could beat me with Palmer and Johnson and
Everett and Parham.
Yeah, Everett. I don't even know if Parham's playing. Is he healthy enough to play, or is he not playing?
We'll see.
Yeah, no, that's how little it matters. That shrug tells me
coming off a bye
how much that actually matters.
And it's Monday, so they really haven't practiced. So it's like,
Yeah, I guess that's technically true. Today would have been the first day they would have practiced.
Yeah,
because they're going to practice Sunday.
They were all playing golf.
I would too if I was in California right now. It's probably pretty nice.
Yeah.
All right. What about running back? Let's do running back real quick.
It's a guy trying to steal from you. Amari DiMercado versus the Rams.
I have him in every league.
I know.
I went ham in all of my leagues on this, and some of it is desperation related. I'm not going to lie to you. Like, I do have him as a borderline.
So good.
I do have him as a round like 25 in my rankings. Here's my problem. Here's the problem with this. Keontae Ingram. If he's active, they're going to play him because the Cardinals don't live in this reality.
Yeah.
So they're going to play him, and it's going to siphon off
enough to make him
just enough to make it scary.
Yeah.
That's the problem here. That's
on tape he looks so much better than Ingram, and it's not close.
Oh yeah, no, on tape from just the game film from that week, it's like why would he not be playing behind Connor?
Just cut.
Like, he should be playing behind Connor. Like
they should be splitting.
Yeah, like
to help keep Connor healthy.
He should be on the field catching passes because he looked good. Like that looked like a real thing. And I'll be honest with you, no idea who that man was up until you got to go deep to confuse me. You got to go like 700 players deep in the NFL before I'm like, who? And I'm literally looking at that like, I don't know who that is. And I had to Google him. And I'm like, oh, he played at TCU. That might explain why I have no idea who he is. And he never had a full-time job at TCU ever. And then I'm also like, why is he like 5'5"? And then I'm like, he's probably not actually 5'5". He's just standing next to offensive linemen that are like 6'4". And I'm like, he looks like a child. And it's like, and then he starts running.
He looks like me out there. Yeah.
And then he starts running, and it's like, oh, okay, all right, well, never mind. Never mind then. Like, but yeah, he looked good. I understand. So what's your What's the optimism here? Is it
So
just
the reason I like him so much is because the only running back not to go double digit in PPR was Zach Moss, and that's because Anthony Richard was healthy and had a 56-yard day with a touchdown.
you mean against the
rushing.
Rams?
Yes, against the
Yeah,
Rams.
okay. Yeah.
That's the only one, and so that's my upside is the fact that every other running back that has faced him has gone double digits, and at this point to be top 24, that's all you need to do.
Well, yeah, he played like half a game, and he had 10 carries for 45 yards, averaging 4.5 yards a carry. Suck it, AJ Dillon. You only wish you could enjoy such luxuries. And he had three targets for only caught one, but not really his fault. Those other two weren't great. I saw a lot of that game, and he scored on the one he caught, and it's like, all right. So yeah, I went out and just started like splashing cash in leagues to get him because I have one league where I'm desperate. I have one league where it just made sense, and I have another league where it was literally for middle finger purposes. And that's just kind of what it was. But yeah, I am a little nervous about the Keontae Ingram thing. It's not as it relates to talent or anything. It's just
that he's siphoning enough off.
Yeah, and they seem to want to play Keontae Ingram. I don't know why, but Keontae Ingram is not a lock to play in this game.
Yeah,
so we're gonna have to.
It's a neck injury.
Yeah,
so...
it is a neck injury. So one good whack early in the game, and that's it. So I'll do mine.
You might be hoping for an injury.
I'll do mine. It's Chuba Hubbard.
I like it.
Little Chuba, largely because Miles Sanders was already hurt, and then he got hurt again in the game last week. So now he's really hurt, like proper hurt. And he hasn't practiced all week already, and I will be stunned if he's playing in that game on Sunday. And Chuba Hubbard, when he gets all the work, averages about 4.5 yards a carry. It's pretty good. Yeah. Here's the one fly in the ointment with Chuba Hubbard. The matchup looks great on paper because the Dolphins, in theory, are a bad run defense. That doesn't actually mean what people think it means. Nobody runs the ball against them because they're losing the game so badly that's why it looks like a good matchup.
The Dolphins are just destroying people with how many points they're scoring this year.
Yeah, so it looks like a good matchup. It actually is an untested matchup. We don't know because nobody's ever really run the ball against them. So, that being said, that's the problem with Chuba Hubbard. But anybody who's starting at this point, given how running back works. So, I like it. I think those are two really good choices. I think those are two very solid choices.
Well, the only team to really, I think, do that was the Bills, right? Bills were the only team that really ran the ball, and it's because they
were competitive.
They dominated time of possession.
Yeah.
So they were like, "No, screw you. We're not."
And Cook had a pretty nice day that day. So but no one else. I don't even know if anybody else even has cracked double-digit carries. I'd have to go pull the numbers, and I don't care to.
Well, yeah, and Cook went 12 for 29 that game. He got a touchdown.
He scored, which is good, but
he also had a reception for 48 yards.
Yeah, but I have DeMarcado right at like the bottom end of RB2, right at the top end of flex, and I have Chuba Hubbard right next to him, where it's like those are the two guys those are the guys that are were widely available on waivers too. And Hubbard is actually still very available. People are not paying attention. If you're looking for running back help, Hubbard's a good choice for a 1 to 2 week rental.
Yeah, let me see. Where do I have DeMarcado? I have 22, and I have
DeMarcado like 26.
I have Hubbard at 23.
Yeah, and I have Hubbard at like 30, but he's going to get moved up the second they confirm Miles Sanders is out.
Yeah, and that's the only
that happens. He's going up like 5 spots.
Yeah,
because I'd have Hubbard over LG.
And it might happen anyway because of the fact that Johnson is probably not going to play, potentially not playing. Barkley might not play. Or two.
Yeah, exactly. And then I'd have Hubbard over Algier, Hill, Ford,
Hall,
Pierce. I already have him over Hall, but my expectations for Hall are not what they were last week. Is Hall going to get another 77-yard rushing touchdown? Because that would really help me out in the league. Actually, that would really help me if that could happen, but we'll see how it goes.
Maybe with the full workload.
Maybe. Who's your sit of the week?
Brian Robinson versus Atlanta.
Yeah, I'd argue about you. That can't argue about that.
Yeah, Falcons like to control the clock. They like to keep it lower scoring, and again, this offense isn't good. So when that happens, they really just get away from Robinson real quick.
I have the option of playing Robinson in a league where I have good other choices, and I'm not playing him. Like I have him in a league where my other running backs are Eckler, White, and Swift. And I'm like, bye, Felicia. Like just nope. Like that could just sit on the bench. Like that's not even a conversation.
Yeah, too much risk, man. It's not ideal, that's for sure.
And for me, it's Ramondre because all the Patriots are dead to me until proven otherwise.
That's the one. That's the one I'm so pumped for, though. I am. This is if he does not get it here, that game is done. Like
you can only score so many twos before I finally give up.
Yeah.
And we're now at that point where I wouldn't risk it. I'll let him have the huge game on my bench if I have better options. And by better options, I mean anybody in the top 24. Like, you would be shocked what I would consider better options, I think, at this point. Like, I'd be seriously looking at, like, for example, like DeMarcado. I'd be playing DeMarcado over Stevenson probably, like, without even thinking about it too bad. I'd be like, yeah, no, that's what we're doing because Stevenson has looked brutal. The Patriots look brutal. They're getting to the point where, how do you fire a living legend? Because we're getting to that point,
bro. They're talking about moving him to L.A. and I'm not about to be in the built. No, I can't. No, I'm not. No. If he is a Chargers head coach, I will lose it.
It's the last 3 weeks where you're looking at a 7. Okay, not good, but okay, a 6 and a 2. And it's like there's decimal points in there, but they don't matter. It's not good.
Well,
for Stevenson, like
over the past 2 weeks, they've only scored 3 points.
I know, but like you'd think you'd be able to get some passes or do something.
No, because Jones doesn't want to do that. This week, he's going to be almost forced to because Juju's in concussion protocol. DeMario.
That's not a field goal. Cowards. All of them. Cowards.
Chief safety, baby. Let's go.
I would take that. I would take that. You want to do? I'd take that. That's fine with me.
That might happen.
I will accept this. I will accept this. The sack and the fumble and the safety, or sack, fumble, touchdown. I'll take that too. That would be great. Like, anyway, I digress. This show is
GC coming in strong, guys.
This show, bottom 5 shows we've ever done, Jason. I got to tell you, we've. But yeah, Stevenson is just like all the Patriots are dead to me until I see something different. No one is startable. And I'm including Hunter Henry in that. No one is startable. And yes, I've heard the weird off the wall rumor that I can't find anybody credible who's actually talking about like, yeah, the Patriots might get rid of Belichick to the Chargers. And I'm like, no one.
Just the whispers in the bushes. Per usual. Bunch of
boo cowards. But yeah, I don't know what they're going to do about that. The whole Patriots team is a disaster. Stevenson's usage is in the toilet. The Patriots are in the toilet. They're getting ready to. It's getting ready to start looking like people are going to start getting fired.
That's where Cousins needs to go.
That actually wouldn't be the worst thing I've ever seen. That actually would make a certain amount of sense because they could afford it. You could resurrect some of that.
Juju would actually become a thing. Henry would become a thing.
He'd at least have Kendrick Bourne. Maybe somebody would do something. But they would look a hell of a lot better than they do with Mac Jones or Bailey Zappi because
guess what? They grab Cousins. They grab Judy. Voila! You have a new team that is able to actually compete.
They wanted Judy. I don't know if they're going to afford that though. They want Judy, but they want Judy for like $1.50, and the Broncos don't want to do that. The Colts are the ones who are the most likely to get Judy, actually. If we're going to have that conversation, we'll just have it. The rumor mill on that is insane, but the leader in the clubhouse from all credible reporting is the Colts. And you want to know why? You won't like the underlying reason why. You specifically will not like the underlying reason why.
Because they want to get rid of Pierce?
Yes. They want Judy to take over Pierce's role. They don't think Pierce is cutting the mustard out there for what they want to do. So they want to replace Pierce with Judy, and then they're going to roll Pittman, Judy, Downs. Add Kirk Cousins to that. That's a playoff team.
Yeah. Unfortunately,
Just saying,
it doesn't
like-
matter because you have Anthony Richardson who's going to ruin it. Like,
Oh yeah,
that's the biggest frustration of this whole team. It's just the
Oh,
fact that
that team would be crazy if they had that and fully healthy Taylor. Geez, they'd be the best team in the division.
yeah, and it wouldn't be close. And they're about to have their
Jacksonville might be able to give them a run for their money, but
well, except for they're about to have oh my gosh, their defense is coming back. What's not Shaq. Who is their linebacker?
oh,
He's a stud. Why can't I think of his stupid name?
I'm bad at remembering. I'm bad at remembering like teams I don't follow as defensive players.
But their defense is about to get a step up because he's coming back and is going to be able to actually do something.
Yeah. Anyway, either way, that's the credible reporting is that Colts are the leader in the clubhouse. There's a few other teams that are making inquiries, but it's going to be the Broncos want something like they're not asking for a first round pick like they were in the offseason, but they still want like a lot. The problem they have is that they just picked up his 5th-year option, so they either have to extend him or move on. So you're going to get to a point here in the next week or two where you either get nothing or you're going to have to extend him. And from what I've seen, Sean Payton doesn't really seem to want it. And if they're going to keep Sean Payton, I guess that's the decision you make.
Well,
so he's going to
go do anything for this team. Really, they've been using Sutton as
and then Sutton's also on the block. So Sutton's on the block, so they can get whatever they want for him, and then their entire defense is on the block. Anybody on defense you want is available. So they're taking calls from anybody you can think of. So there's some weird. It goes in waves in the NFL, but this might actually be a really busy trade deadline.
Say that every year. I feel like
yeah,
we say that every year,
years,
though.
Well, in some years we're right.
I know there
In
have been
other years, nothing happens. So I get it. Like, I understand. Okay. Well, we did running back, so that was my sit of the week. Was Ramondre. What about wide receiver?
I know it's going to surprise you. It's Josh Downs versus the Jaguars.
Is it Michael Pittman? Oh, I thought it was going to be Michael Pittman for the 100th time.
No, because he's in the top 36. Josh Downs, however, is not. And with Minshew, he has seen 10 targets each game and has scored double-digit fantasy points. So, that in mind, definitely a flex for you, if not a wide receiver too.
I'm actually annoyed because I was going to talk about Downs. I actually had to make a decision in a dynasty league that I have a, not to brag, I have a pretty good team. I actually had to make a decision between playing Cortland Sutton tonight or playing Josh Downs. And I made the decision that I would rather play Michael Pittman and Josh Downs than play Cortland Sutton tonight. Cortland Sutton 1 for 9, by the way, in the first half. Looking good so far. Feeling good about this right now.
Judy 2 for 1.
Yeah, that's horrible. I didn't want to play any Bronco tonight, so I just benched them all, the ones that I have. Like all of it, soup to nuts. Javonte, Perine, all of it. Don't want any of it. Let that team blow itself up, and then we'll see what resurrects itself from the ashes. That's kind of where I'm at with the Broncos at this point. Hell, man, like we're in a universe where McLaughlin could be the starting running back for Denver in like 2 weeks. Like that's the universe we're walking towards. So
Williams has been doing pretty good though. That 18-yard run really helps him.
What is his actual line for tonight? 4 for 33. 4 for 33 is not horrible.
But the 18-yard run is what's boosting him up.
Yeah, and he hasn't caught any passes or anything. The Broncos will figure out how to screw up and get way not enough for Surtain, and I'm going to laugh. I'm going to laugh at them. Like, if you get rid of Surtain, you need to be getting, like, at least a first-round pick, possibly two.
Can we send Bosa for him?
No. Do not want. Do not want that contract.
Ugh.
I'll take all of your draft picks for the next 2 years. All of them. I want every draft pick.
You might be able to get that from Tom. Who knows?
I want every draft pick, 1st through 7, all of them for the next 2 years, and then you can have Surtain. Every draft pick. And if you get other draft picks,
how about Mike Williams?
Nope. If you get other draft picks from other teams, they retroactively revert to me for the next 2 years. Any subsequent deals you make, I also get those. That's the deal I'll sign with you for Surtain in the division with your clown shoes fully on with that. Like, you have any idea what I would charge you for? Like I'm being facetious, but not by as much as you think. Like that's yeah, Downs is a good one. I agree with you on the upside against Jacksonville, and the Minshew thing really
Well,
helps.
and just the floor. I mean,
Yeah,
it's kind of hard not to get 10 fantasy points with him. I mean, that
why I
check down's
drafted
right
him.
there.
That's why I have a
there.
lot of Downs shares in Dynasty for this reason. I was recommending him all offseason because if he's going to play slot in a Reggie Wayne team that does that, and then you got Reggie Wayne talking glowingly about Downs, saying he was the best receiver in the class. I'm like, okay, they're gonna throw him the ball. Like they're gonna work him in. So, and he's
only
very
when Minshew's there.
well, that's more Anthony Richardson is still
Not
learning
being
how
able
to
to hit
throw
it.
the
Yeah.
ball. Yeah. But Minshew, I can see why Minshew loves it because he's just like, oh, he's just open. And that's what I loved about Downs in college. He's just so natural playing that slot that he's born to do it. You know, like he's so good at getting in and out of his breaks, and he works those shallow cuts, and then he goes deep cuts, and he doesn't have the deepest route tree I've ever seen in my life, but the 4 routes that he does run really well are great. They're incredible. So no, I'm with you on the Downs this week, and we'll see if he starts getting more involved moving forward. So no, he's a good one. I very much am intrigued to see what he comes back with this week. And then I have 2, and they're pretty easy. So I'll just do both of them real quick. One is Tyler Boyd. As we talked about, Tyler Boyd, whenever T. Higgins doesn't play and Jamar Chase is out there, Tyler Boyd usually puts up a decent day. As long as he doesn't need to be the wide receiver 1 for the team, he's fine. So Tyler Boyd, this isn't science at this point. It's the reason that anybody would want to roster Tyler Boyd is but I am less enthusiastic about this if T. Higgins is playing. It doesn't even matter if he's healthy. If he's playing, it really throws some cold water on this, which is why I have 2. So the other one is Robert Woods. You want to take a shot at how many targets Robert Woods is averaging for the season?
8.
6.
Oh.
But that's a lot for Robert Woods on a team that like he's the 3rd wide receiver and he's averaging 6 targets. Holy cow! Last week he had 8 targets, and he's on the wrong side of 30. He's old. He doesn't run the way he used to. Doesn't matter. Tank Dell's probably not playing in this game, and if Tank Dell's going to vacate those targets, they're going to get split up, and Robert Woods is going to have a lot of activity. I couldn't tell you if he's going to make it pay off.
Yeah.
But he's going to get those targets, baby. He's going to be on that field. They're going to be throwing it to number 2. That's the way it's going to go. And I will say, CJ Stroud looks for him. And they're not asking him to run deep routes anymore. He works all short and intermediate stuff. So it's
the way it should be.
It was kind of like a theme here. We're recommending in PPR guys that see a lot of targets short and over the middle of the field. Like it's almost like those are easy to catch or something. I don't know. I don't know. Why would I want that? Like, why would that be a better play than Rashid Shaheed? Like that's I'm being mean. I like Rashid Shaheed, but
now kick and punt return.
Oh yeah, all day. Oh god, he's a flex. He's a weekly flex. Like I've played in leagues like that before. You ever played in a league like that actually plays those rules?
Yeah, I also like the points for first down.
Yeah, I don't mind that. I don't like that as much as I like the kick and punt return league. The kick and punt return league, I was actually like very against. Boo!
Saw that coming.
Boo! Boo! That perpetuates the stereotype that Kadarius Toney's good at football.
He is what he catches the 1 touchdown. And that's it. Now he's going to go.
I actually think it might have been a rushing touchdown.
Oh my god, I'm going to be mad if that's the case. If he just stole my Pacheco touchdown,
I don't know. We're gonna see. I'm not watching it. I've got it. I've got the game log in the background. I don't know what they're gonna do. I'm not. I've derailed the entire show. Anyway, Robert Woods, Josh Downs, and possibly some. I just had it and I derailed the entire show and I just lost it. Tyler Boyd. Those are the ones. And then I guess KJ Osborne if you were really desperate. Like, sure. make the argument for KJ Osborne. Those are the starts. Who are the sits?
We kind of already touched on it. Amari Cooper versus the 49ers. Outside of Puka and Lamb, no wide receiver has broken double-digit fantasy points against 49ers.
Damn, I think it was a passing touchdown.
But
yeah, it's a passing touchdown. Boo! Boo!
Sorry. But yeah, and PJ is likely going to be...
I had to wait until he started a sentence, Polo, and then I put this up. I had to wait until he was mid-thought just to shut it down.
Yeah, PJ's going to be more likely going to be the quarterback. Watson, if he is there, it's even worse. Would expect PJ Walker to actually go for more in DPJ than I would to go to Cooper, because Cooper is going to be likely covered by a good 49ers defense. So the surprising players are usually the ones that they aren't expecting. So, i.e. Puka, i.e. Lamb. So be interesting to see how that goes.
No, I get you. I get what you're doing there. For me, it's Deebo Samuel. Still clearly hurt, and
running decoy routes. Every route
will not be necessary for them to win this game. So I'm very concerned that they just let him go do cardio during the game, basically, and he just runs around for a little while. And
well, the other thing is they might actually just use him to run the ball after
they might
CMC's done.
They might. I mean, yeah, or he might only play 2 quarters and then go get some Gatorade. I don't know. But I do not really want to play Samuel this week if I can avoid it. Yeah. He's hurt and he's playing through it, and they're not going to need him this week to win this game. Should not be necessary at all. So, yeah. It's funny how we got guys from different teams in the same game.
That was the other one I was looking at, so I completely get it. I mean,
yeah, no, when you start going through the rankings, usually it's really hard to find receivers that you want to sit. You know what I mean? But in this case, it was actually really easy this week. It was really easy. Shockingly easy.
Travis Kelce, 7 for 109
in the first half.
With 3 minutes left. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a very real chance that
they get the ball back.
Yeah. There's a very real chance they're getting the ball back. Anyway, all right.
That's terrifying.
Well, at this point, that game might be over in the third quarter, so it might not matter. You already got your points from Kelce, so congratulations to you, and there it goes. So, the only other thing to do is tight end. So let's go through and we'll do some tight end real quick.
Well, again, touched on it. Dalton Schultz versus the Saints. I know. I had to do it. The fact that Dell is out.
Terrifying.
I know. The fact that Dell is out really makes me think that there's opportunity for those targets to go to him. And if he's seeing 8 to 10 targets, more than likely he's going to have a double-digit day. Again, Saints haven't really faced a whole lot of good tight ends. And so, that in mind, the ones that they did see, Musgrave and Otten, both had double-digit days. So, and that's in that case, both of them were also missing a wide receiver right in front of them. Mm-hmm. Evans went out, Otten got the boost. Watson was out, Musgrave got the boost. So, there you go.
Take it easy, Paulo. That is the most passive aggressive
not
statement.
Salty at all.
Not at all. Not at all.
Get yourself a margarita while you're out there.
God. I have a sneaky suspicion that's why she needs a ride. I would never accuse anyone of having a couple cocktails at a book club, but book club is my experience with those lady book clubs. That's just an excuse to have a party. Not accusing anyone of that either. If you want to have a party, just have a party. But yeah, that is hilarious. All right, Paul, we'll catch you on Sunday. Thanks for being here as always. Oh, that's funny. He's got a license and a new car. Oh yeah. The
tight end start of the week.
Yeah. I have 2 that are interesting. So these are, and I'm digging deep actually this week, digging real deep. Tyler Conklin is worth taking a look at, and it's all matchup based.
Same game, bro.
I know it's all matchup based. The Eagles are actually not good at stopping the tight end.
Oh.
So wait.
I'm sorry, I was looking at my sit, not my
That's
start.
not the same game. Like that threw me off. That's not the same game. No, Tyler Conklin. The Jets are playing the Eagles. The Eagles are actually shockingly bad at stopping the tight end. And I normally wouldn't recommend Tyler Conklin because it's wildly inconsistent. But if you're desperate and you're looking for streamers, there's a real chance Tyler Conklin just falls bass backwards into the end zone this week because the Eagles just do not cover the tight end well. I don't know why, but that's every metric we have will tell you that the Eagles are a real serious plus matchup against tight end. So it's worth looking into. And if that doesn't float your boat because Zach Wilson, I understand. So I have a backup plan here. And it's Cade Otton. And it's Cade Otton because he is actually he's way more involved than people think. It's not a great matchup. Detroit's kind of a middle of the road matchup. But Cade Otton is rocking a couple double-digit performances this year, and they're not actually all touchdown dependent. One of them is. But he actually is more involved than people think. And Mike Evans is still beat up. Even if he plays, he's still going to be beat up. He's not going to be capital letters Mike Evans. And Baker Mayfield, as we've learned from years of watching Baker Mayfield play football, he likes to have a tight end safety blanket, and that's Cade Otton. So Cade Otton is actually somewhat interesting. If you're desperate and you're looking for streamers, those are my two that I would point you towards because they're widely available. And you got a lot of guys this week that I just don't want to deal with in the background. I just don't want to deal with them. I don't necessarily hate the Dalton Schultz thing either, by the way. It's largely available. Well, I have Dalton Schultz rated higher, but like you already did that, and so I've got deep cuts to look at, and then people are still asking questions about. I'm actually surprised we didn't get a Kyle Pitts, Jonnu Smith question. Well, I'm sure we will on Sunday.
Start them both.
You might as well at this point. That's how crap tight end is.
Well, and they're playing Pitts at wide receiver, and that's the weakness for the Titans.
Yeah, that is true because they're actually okay against the tight end, but they're not good against the wide receiver. I don't know. It might go to Drake London. That's why I'm like I don't like it. Like
yeah,
that's why I'm scared
more
of
risk.
it. That's why I'm scared of it, and I'm like I would almost rather just deal with Cade Otton because that's Cade Otton's job at this point. And all I need you to do is fall in the end zone, Cade. Just go ahead. And then same thing with Conklin. He's the only one they're throwing it to when they do, and they might need to throw it to him this week because they are going to be getting bitch smacked like really aggressively. Like it's going to be ugly. That's another game that might be over by halftime. That game could literally be done in the third quarter. That's why I'm terrified of Breece Hall. Is like do not like. Although Breece Hall might bail you out because he'll catch enough dump offs to matter, right? That's the
hope.
You hope if you're gonna have to play him. Denver is bad at football and immediately has gone 3-and-out with 2 minutes to go still in this game somehow, or in the half, excuse me. And they're going to have to punt it back to the Chiefs. This is
Pacheco.
so embarrassing. Butker, 50-yarder, Butker.
Stop it. I'm fine. I want him to get to the 80 yards first, but I need 2 touchdowns. I still need 2 touchdowns.
What do you need for Pacheco?
Over 80 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Total or like rushing yards?
Rushing. He's on pace for it. He should be okay.
He's actually like almost there. He's at 47. It should be good.
That's what I'm hoping, but we'll see. I really
with
hope
a minute 50 and them getting the ball back with what's called a minute 45. I don't know that they're gonna like hand the ball off to him because I have a feeling they're only up 10-0. They're probably gonna go down and try and get some more points. Anyway, while we wait for that to work itself out, who's your sit of the week?
The one guy I could never trust, and I'm still salty on, and Dallas Goedert. I don't understand this team,
still
man.
Salty about it.
I know. I just don't get it. I don't understand. I don't understand the Smith,
Probably
Goddard. They have too many options. I can't bring myself to trust it. It's too risky. If it could easily be Goddard this week because it might be covering AJ, but who knows?
Well, it's
I don't want to risk it.
more AJ kind of gets his, and then it's whether or not Smith
Does anything?
does much.
Yeah, it's ugly. That's the one I'm.
This is why I have a lot of AJ Brown shares and very little. I don't think I have any Devonta Smith shares this year. I had some last year, which was pretty good, but I don't think I have any for this year. Which is weird. Should probably have some. No, I don't. Wild. All right, so Goddard, because it's the mystery box and we don't know. It doesn't make sense because you're talking about AJ Brown gets his, Swift's involved, Hurts is Hurts. It's just a question of whether or not Smith and Goddard kind of alternate.
Flip the coin, man.
Yeah.
Flip the coin.
I can understand how you would arrive at, that type of situation. For me, it's and this is cheating, so I'm going to do 2, but it's more my excuse to do a PSA here at the end for the
Waller.
the 5 people that are left watching this deep into this show and haven't left to go eat dinner.
Or drive their wives home.
No, it's Sam Laporta. Yeah, or drive their wives home from the book club, despite the fact they have a new car and driver's license. Yeah, that
perfectly capable adults.
It's Sam Laporta. It's mostly just so I can do the Sam Laporta PSA. He's hurt, and it's really looking like he's not even going to play. That's the way that's trending. So you need to find a Sam Laporta replacement. It's also an excuse to do this stat, which is Sam Laporta leads all tight ends in receiving, which is kind of interesting. Small sample because we're only 5 weeks into the year. And by the way, Travis Kelce's coming for that already. Just a fun little stat that I saw over the week that I was like, it's interesting. But yeah, Sam Laporta is trending towards not playing in this game. He's beat up. He really isn't practicing. Find a Sam Laporta replacement if you've got him because he's not playing in this game, I don't think. So he'd be my sit of the week largely because I don't think you're going to have another choice. You need to find something else here, and that's what I would do. Start looking for that right now.
Thought for sure you're going Waller. I thought that was
well. Weird. Waller would qualify only because Waller is also hurt and is probably not playing in this game. So there's that. There's a very real chance that the Giants will not have Daniel Jones, Saquon Barkley, Darren Waller, Wan'Dale Robinson. There's a very real chance the Giants are not going to have their entire starting offense. And it's going to be Tyrod and Matt Breida and I guess Sterling Shepard. It's going to be bad. Worse than normal. So, no, Waller's another one that he's trending towards not playing on Sunday night. So you
also why I absolutely love James Cook this week.
That could well be a thing. The problem with that is that it could easily turn into Latavius Murray because they don't even want to run the risk of hurting Cook.
Yeah.
And they're just like, screw it, Latavius, get in there. Do the dirty work. In game doesn't matter. So that's the reason I'm a little scared of Cook is his day might be over in the third quarter. And you're just watching Latavius Murray and Damian Harris bulldoze the Giants into the ground, which they will have no problem.
Really hoping that Cook has had over 100 yards in the first 3 quarters, right?
Pretty much, or catches a touchdown or something. But yeah, Waller is another one to look at and start figuring out other replacements. And this is why tight end sit of the week is such a disaster, is because it's already super ugly. And then 2 of the ones that you would actually probably normally be starting are trending towards not playing because they're injured. So it's like this huge mess at tight end in the background. What's up, Aaron? How's it going?
Hey.
You don't get enough of us on Discord? You're willing to tune into this and listen to us actually talk? That's shocking.
Well, I was watching Steve earlier on Twitch. He was playing a video game. I was very confused.
That's not Steve. That's Steve's son.
No, it was Steve. I watched the video of him playing on Twitch.
Oh. Well, it's usually his son. So, okay. Anyway. Was Steve on camera?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Usually it's his kid because his kid does some streaming stuff in the background, I guess. So yeah, that's where we're at here. So yeah, it's tough to recommend sits this week because it's slim pickings in the background. You know what I mean? So it's a lot easier to do starts in the background there. So that's kind of where we're at. So with that, there's about 40 seconds left in the first half. Let me see here. Aaron wants to do a couple things real quick before we leave.
I mean, he has volume. You're just really hoping that the issue is he has now lost targets because Cup is back. That hurts him.
They're not running the ball as much because Cup is back either.
Yep. But in games that they do get up, Kyron should have a good day. You just have to figure out when that's going to happen.
There's no threat to Kyron's job.
Correct.
He's still playing 90% of the snaps. He's the running back on the team. There's nobody coming to take his job from him. It's just a question of how do the opportunities get redistributed in the background.
Yeah, you're really hoping that they get up and then they're able to rest Cup and Puka and go, here you go, Kyron. We'll give you 20 carries, which doubt will happen really, and maybe 3 to 5 targets. It's just tough.
Yeah, so that's why there's such a split in the industry, is because people who will tell you, you want to chase volume will say Kyron Williams is still a top, an RB1 because he's getting all the work. And people who are saying who don't put as much stock into volume will tell you, well, sure, he's the RB1, but he has to move down the page because the team's going to just throw the ball to Cooper Kupp on every possession like they like to do because that's what that team does.
Well, Cooper Kupp and Puka. I mean,
well, whatever.
Puka has made himself a role.
Yeah, whatever. That's the same thing. They ain't handed it to Kyron Williams. So that's going to be the issue that you're going to deal with in the background. That's why there is a split in the industry, Aaron, is because no one actually knows. That's the problem. No one actually knows what the real answer to that is. My argument would be this. If I could get the sun, the moon, and the stars for Kyron, and I didn't need him on my team because I picked him up off the waiver wire or something, and the rest of my team was performing, I would trade him to get some sort of really high-end wide receiver.
Yeah, that's part of the reason I was trying to. I was telling people week 3 and on, try and sell them as quickly as you can.
Yeah, because you still can.
Yeah,
because it's a function of running back being horrible.
Well, and buys were coming up, and so you're trying to get teams that need somebody now. Lost Eckler, lost Taylor, lost whomever, and didn't get a good backup.
Even
and he's
with
performing.
them coming back, it doesn't matter because even with that, he would still be an RB2, and you could still get something really nice. It doesn't matter. Like it, if you don't need Kyron because you're afraid of it, or because you have whatever in the background, you know what I mean? Then that's kind of where we're at. So that's the situation as I see it. Is I would work on trying to trade him if I thought I could still get like a real wide receiver 1. If I needed an upgrade, I would be willing to move on from him. But if you have crap running backs like a lot of people are dealing with, I don't see how you could really you're just going to kind of have to roll with it. You know what I mean? You're just going to kind of have to roll with the punches. It's going to be hard to trade Kyron in running back. The only thing that I might do is if somebody was willing to give me Swift or Mixon or Rashad White. That I would do. Because those guys' jobs aren't changing in the background, and you're not worried about outside forces playing with them. If I was willing to get one of those guys, if I could get one of those guys for Kyron Williams, and maybe if they were going to throw in a little something, because they still believe in Kyron Williams, I would do that too. I would go shop around and start figuring that out. Because I don't think the drop from Kyron to Swift is that far. And if someone else does, then I would go do that. Same thing with White, same thing with Mixon. I don't think there's that much of a drop. But people do. So it depends on who you're talking to. So I would go knock on doors if it was something I was going to move on from. Anyway, we are about to hit halftime. There's 11 seconds to go here. It's 10-0. Game is a train wreck. So Jason, final thoughts here before we sign off.
Got nothing. I'm just, hey, maybe we'll get to hang out this weekend.
Maybe. Yeah. I'll be around. I don't know what you got planned or going on in the background over there, but yeah, hit me up. You know where I'm at. Easy to find. I'll invite Mason as well because Mason's easy to get a hold of. We can go to the bar or something. There's a bar walking distance from where I live, so it's like we could do something fun like that out in the background. And Mason literally lives less than 10 minutes from me, and you're only going to be 15 minutes away. So yeah, that might be fun if you've got some time. I don't know what you're going out there to do exactly, but if you end up with some free time, hit me up. Let me know, and we'll try to find something fun. And are you going to be available to do Sunday?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm doing
Then-
Sunday. I'm more nervous about where I'll be, but we'll
figure something out.
Yeah.
So tune in tomorrow for Locked In with Mason and Vishal. Get all your gambling picks as always. Get all the fun stuff that you need to kind of roll through your weekend here. For the members, for the Discord members, which you can sign up by the way, right down there. For the Discord members, check out Saturday. We should have our first piece from Tyler Reed for DFS. So he's going to do a card for DFS. Nice. So that'll be interesting. I believe that's members only. And the Sunday, check out the final countdown. Bonus points if you can make Jason blush on camera. So the filthier your username, the better, within reason. And I prefer sexual innuendo. If you can make me laugh, I put you to the front of the line. That's also how that works. So tune in on Sunday for the final countdown. Get your last minute lineup questions, and then join Aaron Cantu and the rest of us in our Discord, where we can answer any and all questions you have in the meantime. Link to the Discord is in the show notes. And until I talk to you again possibly on Saturday, my friend, safe travels, safe flight. They're renovating part of DIA, so good luck navigating that. And I don't know what terminal you're going into. Hopefully it's not Terminal C, because that's not going to be as fun as normal. And with that, hopefully get to see you in person. And otherwise, with it for everybody else out there, we'll see you on Sunday. But until then, keep up the nonsense.